morning, everybody. I'm Bob Marone for Westchester Talk Radio, and we are live at Manhattanville College here in Purchase, New York for the annual Women in Power event. And we're produced this morning by Shaw Creative, made possible by Robeson, Hightower, Westchester, and White Plains Hospital. And funny that, my first guest this morning is Susan Fox. She's the president and CEO of White Plains Hospital, and she comes to us just a tiny bit hobbled this morning. Good morning, Ms. Fox. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Bob?
I'm doing pretty well. I had such a kinship when I saw you come in the door. I already told you I was hobbled myself. Now, inquiring minds want to know, what did you do to yourself? But she's here in all her glory. She looks great. She's ready to join the panel this morning for this wonderful event. How did you manage to do this?
It was a Christmas Eve incident. My son was coming home from Boston, and I was watching the clock, and he arrived a few minutes before midnight, and I came out to see him and with my dog, Murphy, and we were both racing to see my son, and Murphy won, and he went under my legs, and thus a little bit of a broken ankle, but recovering and doing well, thank you.
Still on the job, obviously. You're here today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what you do. You know, like most people, I'm a nut about medical programs and things like that. House was my favorite show. And here I get to meet with the president of a hospital, and that's an enormous responsibility. I mean, I'm saying the obvious, but you worry about so many things. What's it like to be in charge of a hospital of this dimension?
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, but it's so exciting to be in a position where you can really help the community in a way that they have the care that they need when they need it. And so it's working with a lot of good people and making sure that everybody's focused on the patient in a way that we're there for them, for their health, but to support them in everything that they're doing. But I think it's just exciting to be in that position and know that stuff happens, but you can be in a place where you can make things better. So the responsibility comes with a responsibility and an understanding that you're making a difference, which helps balance the responsibility.
Speaking of balance, you have the issue of getting people well. You have the issue of dealing with insurance companies and technology firms, making sure that the hospital also can pay for itself. Managing that balance seems incredibly difficult, just as an outsider.
It is. When I actually started my career as a nurse, and
I saw that.
Never thought I would actually be sitting in this chair, and no day is like another. And sometimes it's thinking about the newest program we're bringing. We excitingly just brought cardiac surgery, open heart surgery to the hospital last year. We're building the next building. We just opened a 250,000 square foot ambulatory building. And ultimately, it's also, as you mentioned, figuring out how you pay for all of that and how you manage all of that. But it's, part of the challenges, and we figure out we make it work.
Let's go back to Susan Fox, the nurse, for a moment. And you've come all this way and had a lot of different experiences along the way. Is the job what you thought it might be?
Again, I don't think anybody really can understand because there's so many dimensions, but I find just thinking about what's the right thing to do, what we want to happen, it's really a driver, and it's never giving up, and knowing that we have the health of the community in mind, it provides a lot of inspiration for the right things to happen, but always different.
I bet. We're talking with Susan Fox here on Westchester Talk Radio. She's the president and CEO of White Plains Hospital, and she is a panelist today on the Women of Power here in Westchester event. You have a very diverse background. You've done a lot of different things, a lot of rigorous things. Is there any one or two things that prepared you to do this?
I think starting as a nurse and thinking about what's the best thing for the patient was the best preparation. And then fast forwarding to be in a position where you can make things happen to support that really was a differentiator for me in my career. The other thing, just to make sure to mention, which makes it all work, is really the people, my workforce. We have over 4,000 staff at the hospital, over 1,500 medical staff at the hospital, and it's really the dedication of everyone, how they work together, how we're all focused on the care of the patient. That is the fundamental and the simplest learning, and provides the guidance that we need for the right things to happen.
Wow, what a difficult job, and what an accomplishment for you. I'm going to be a little selfish. I have a daughter. She's a microbiologist. She's done well. She's in a leadership position. What advice would you give her? She's still somewhat young, moving up through the system, and I don't want to lose sight of the theme today, women in power, such an important evolution in our society. What advice would you give her?
I think, find what gets you excited. It's that common, if you find the right thing to do, you never feel like you're working a day in your life. And I've had that throughout my career, and I hope that for everyone. And there's so much diversity in healthcare to find the thing that really gets you excited. It also has a tremendous amount of flexibility and hours that are worked and roles that are played for women that are trying to balance all the things that women need to balance. So I think great direction for her, lots of opportunities there, and don't be afraid to pursue what gets you excited and gets you up in the morning.
I will pass that to her. She's going to be excited that I had a chance to talk with you. And a tad bit of humor as we leave. You're going to be performing. You're on the panel today. And as we say in this business, break a leg, but don't break a leg, okay?
You just wanted to say that to me.
I did. I've been waiting since you walked in the door. Susan Fox, the CEO and president of White Plains Hospital, thank you so very much. We'll be right back after these words.